All the way back in February this year, I went to the supermarket and I purchased some organic sweet potatoes so I could try to grow sweet potatoes in the UK. I'm not too sure what we've ended up with, but in today's video we're going to find out. So I purchased some organic sweet potatoes, and it's important that they are organic because usually they're sprayed with a growth inhibitor so they don't sprout when they're in the shop. So if we were to get the sprayed ones, we're going to struggle producing some sweet potato plants. Now, sweet potatoes grow a lot differently to normal potatoes. Firstly, they're a tropical plant and require a long growing season and a lot of warmth. And secondly, they grow differently altogether. They're a vining plant and they're actually related to the morning glory plant, and they grow via slips, or you could also call them cuttings or shoots if you want. But these grow from the sweet potato tuber, and it's these shoots or slips which you pull off the sweet potato tuber, you let them root, and then you plant them. So you're actually planting a cutting, not a whole potato like you would when you're normally growing potatoes. So I started these off in February, and it took around a month before I started seeing any signs of sweet potato slips. I started them on my heat mat at home under the grow lights, and once those shoots got to a decent size, after around 4 to 6 weeks, I pulled them off the sweet potato tuber, stuck them in water, let them root, and after a couple more weeks I had a sweet potato slip with lots of roots on it which I could then plant. And by this time it was May, we were past our last frost date, so I planted them in the polytunnel in this 30 litre bucket, a couple of 30 litre buckets. I planted them in multi-purpose compost with some bloodfish and bone. I planted 4 sweet potato plants in each bucket, probably too many. Some people said I should have put more like 2 sweet potato plants in a bucket, but we'll see what we've got away with here. And I put these bamboo canes in as well to let the sweet potatoes grow up them, because they are a vining plant and they grow crazy as well. So that's what we've done. We've not done anything else. We've watered them quite frequently. The soil did dry out quite a bit. They are thirsty plants. So it's now the end of October and things are getting quite cold in the UK. So it's time to get them harvested before the frost comes along and kills them off. The leaves are starting to go all yellow now, which is a sign that they've reached maturity. So they're not going to grow anymore. It's not warm enough in the UK for any more growth on these. So did we manage to grow sweet potatoes in the UK? Let's find out. I'm really excited to see what we've got here. Okay, so I've got my wheelbarrow here. Let's have a look what we've got. I've cut all the foliage back to make things a bit neater. Here we go, moment of truth. Just going to take them all out as we normally do a potato reveal. We're just going to treat it like a normal potato reveal, this one. Okay, let's have a look what we've got here. That's a very long one, isn't it? It's not very big. I mean, at least I don't have to cut them up. At least I don't need to prep them. Okay, they're not exactly big sweet potatoes. Slightly bigger. Very, very small, itty bitty sweet potatoes, a lot of these. Very small. Okay, second bucket. Let's see if these are any better than the first one. Yeah, not really. Looks like there's a few more of them in this one though than the other bucket. but they are very small. Very small. Yeah. Well, hey, look at that. No, I'm just joking. That's the seed potato which I ended up planting. Okay, so what do we actually have? We'll try and stay humble. Okay, yeah, there's probably just about enough for tea there. At least we don't have to really peel them. I don't even think we could peel these, to be honest, without slicing my finger off with the veg peeler. You know, I don't think we can do that. At least I don't need to chop them up. I could just stick them in the air fryer like that. I could just roast them as they are. So, you know, that's a positive. But very disappointing yield, to be honest. But this is my first time growing sweet potatoes, and to be honest, I did wing it. So those are our best ones. Those, I suppose. I've heard that quite a lot of people do struggle growing sweet potatoes in the UK. You know, they are a tropical plant, they like the warmth, they require a long growing season, so you really have to start them early, get them in the greenhouse or the polytunnel, and grow them through the whole growing season, right until autumn, to get any crop. At least we've got something, I suppose. So to answer the question of did I manage to grow sweet potatoes in the UK successfully? No, not on this occasion. I don't think that really constitutes a successful sweet potato harvest. But you know, we did have a terrible growing season, and you know, June and July were awful months, and it wasn't very good weather at all. So there's also that to think about. But there are things that I could have done to help these grow. I could have done more with the compost. You know, I only put bloodfish and bone in there, and I didn't apply any fertiliser after that. I could have applied a liquid feed through the growing season, but I didn't. And I could have planted less in a bucket. I think I planted too many sweet potato plants in that 30 litre bucket, and they didn't have enough space to grow. And I could have also grown them in a sunnier location in the plot. It gets a bit of sun here, but not as much sun as the other side of my plot, because there are trees over this side of the allotment which do provide a little bit of shade, but over on this side gets much more sun. So I could have grown them over there where they got more sun, and they could have done a bit better. Now, I'm not an expert of growing sweet potatoes, and this is the first time I've ever grown them. I just wanted to see what I could do, really. I just wanted to try them. I may try them again next year, or I may just focus my energy on growing something else which grows well on my allotment, like tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, lots of different things that I could grow in the space which was taken over by these sweet potatoes. It did take a lot of space. So we'll see. We might try them again next year. If we do, we'll start them much earlier. We'll probably start them in January instead of February, and probably do much more. But if you've got any tips on growing sweet potatoes, do let me know in the comments below. The UK climate isn't very good for growing sweet potatoes. Most people I've spoken to haven't managed to get away with growing sweet potatoes, so at least I'm not the only one. You know, that makes me feel a bit better, I suppose. It's not just me. But yeah, that's my sweet potato harvest. They're the best ones, really. At least we don't need to chop them up. We can just eat them like that. We just cook them like that. So, you know, that's a positive. Anyway, that's my little sweet potato reveal. Not a success, but I just wanted to document it and show you guys anyway. Remember, if you like the video and you managed to learn something from this, and you have a passion for gardening and you want to learn to grow your own food, you might want to consider subscribing to the channel, and you'll never miss whenever I upload new videos in the future. And it's absolutely free to subscribe as well. It doesn't cost you anything. So that's all for now, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Happy gardening and stay safe.